Okay, my name is Alan Luxenberg. I'm president of the Foreign Policy Research Institute, and I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight, our supporters and your guests. Last month, our old friend and supporter, Pina Templeton, widow of our former vice chairman, the late Jack Templeton, sponsored a program here at the Union League on the occasion of unveiling a painting that Pina had commissioned, depicting the House Speaker, the Speaker of the House, Tip O'Neill, kneeling in prayer at the bedside of President Reagan in the hospital just days after the attempted assassination. As it turns out, Tip O'Neill was the first public figure to be allowed in to see the president. That was a decision made by Reagan's aides to demonstrate national unity in a time of near tragedy. Pina's goal in sponsoring that program and in commissioning the painting was to promote a return to civility in the public square as depicted in that painting. That might have been a modest goal in another time, but in today's environment, it is probably a rather ambitious goal, especially on this day, the day after Election Day. Hopefully, Pina's goal is not unachievable. I mention this because the Foreign Policy Research Institute is studiously nonpartisan. Our aim is to bring the insights of scholarship to bear on the foreign policy and national security challenges facing the United States. The 100+ scholars that are affiliated with FPRI represent diverse points of view, but they have one common objective, which is to serve the national interests of the United States of America and to promote the values embodied in our Constitution. How best to do that, of course, is subject to honest debate. Our scholars also have a common temperament, best described by the French diplomat of another era, Talleyrand, who said, "Above all, no zeal." In other words, our aim is to engage in dispassionate analysis rather than polemic. We seek to shed light rather than heat. This diversity in our scholars is also reflected in our audience. I often give our speakers a little warning, a little bit of background about our audience. I tell them that roughly half are Democrats and roughly half are Republicans. Hence, I tell them that no matter what they say, they are bound to provoke profound disagreement with someone. But disagreement does not ever have to be disagreeable. I tell our prospective supporters, which hopefully includes some of you, that you should support us only if you have the stomach to hear views that you may not always agree with. Our 50+ programs a year in Philadelphia, in Princeton, in Haverford, New York City, Miami, and Washington, D.C., and our 300+ publications a year, and all the research that is the foundation of our programs and publications, are designed not to make you comfortable, but to make you think. This is very much in line with the view of Robert Strauss-Hupé, our founder, who founded FPRI in 1955 on the premise that a nation must think before it acts. It was good advice then, it remains good advice today. He also bequeathed to the Institute a geopolitical perspective, which is to say we look at contemporary international affairs through the lens of history, geography, and culture, or as my colleague James Kurth likes to say, we study the realities and mentalities of the localities. It was also Strauss-Hupé's view that executing a coherent foreign policy was impossible in the absence of an informed citizenry. Hence, an important function of FPRI is education. That is to say, fostering civic and international literacy. These are challenging times. I don't think a week goes by without someone lamenting the lack of civic education in the United States. As recently as this past weekend, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor and Neil Gorsuch appeared together publicly to address the decline of civility in the public square, attributing the country's intensifying polarization to the elimination of civics from public education. Only, quote, only about 25% of Americans can name the 3 branches of government, Justice Gorsuch told CBS, adding, a third of them can't name any branch of government, and 10%, he said, believe that Judge Judy is one of our colleagues. We at FPRI accept the responsibility to do our part to educate and illuminate, from our publications and lectures to our teacher seminars, video primers, and student simulations. Knowledge is too precious to be hoarded in specialized silos. It must be shared for the benefit of all. Ultimately, FPRI serves as a bridge between the academic community and the policy community, and between those two communities on the one hand and the larger community of citizens in our city and in our country on the other. In my view, the mission and method bequeathed to us by Robert Strauss-Hupé are more essential now than ever before. I hope all of you will help us achieve these lofty goals that I've spoken of tonight, and I thank you for joining us on this special occasion. Thank you very much. Before I get on with the program, I do want to thank, there are a lot of people I should thank, our board members, our board committee chairs, our chairs of each of our venues. Let me thank our staff, our core staff, beginning with Rachel Hemler, who is our event planner, planned tonight's event and all of our events throughout the year. Tatiana Cunningham is our membership coordinator, development assistant, and does 1,000 other things. She started as a work-study student at Drexel and graduated into these other jobs, and we thank Tatiana. Tom Shattuck is our editor and research associate, and he counted up the number of words we have published this year. We are on track to have a 1 million-word year. We have put out 900,000 words to date. He's edited 2/3 of them, and that is quite an achievement. Natalia Kopitnik does all our publications, our communications, and our social media, except that I interfere from time to time, and she seems still to tolerate me, which is a mark of great character on her part. So please thank Natalia. We have Mike Noonan, who directs our national security program, started a great fellowship for recent military veterans aspiring to a career in journalism. Talia Helfont directing our Middle East program and running a great project this year on the end of the Islamic Caliphate and how do we keep the Middle East from being, how do we keep ISIS or ISIS-like groups from resurrecting in the Middle East. And then Maya, and we'll do the 3 research directors together. Maya Otarashvili directs, Deputy Director of our Eurasia program, which is our fastest growing program. We have, a part of it is a Black Sea initiative, a Russian foreign policy initiative, a Baltic initiative, and actually next month we're hosting Steve Kotkin for a talk on Baltic independence at 100, thanks to John Medvekis and Krista Bard. Finally, there's Kali Bergwin, our finance director, who has to, because of all the project grants we get, there are thousands of transactions, and he has to allocate each one individually to a particular grant. It is an unbelievable job. Finally, Eli Gilman is our Director of Administration and Development. Every day he tells me that I'm doing something wrong, and sometimes I listen to him. He's batting about 300, which is great for a ball player. So thank all of the staff. And there are actually many other of our scholars who play a critical role in the day-to-day work of the Institute. The program directors for each of our separate programs. We're really tight for time. I won't mention their names, but they are all to be thanked. All of our board members, Susan Goldberg, the director of the chairman of our special events, Ron Naples and Marina Katz, the co-chairs of our dinner, Robert Friedman, the chairman of the board. But really, all of our board members play a crucial role, without which I could not do my job. So let me just ask our board members, our senior fellows, and our staff just to rise for a minute, and we can all thank you.